Hi, Jim. Welcome here. We're really excited to have you as the keynote speaker for our ABH conference this year.
I'm excited too. I love hypnotherapists, special spot in my heart, and I can't wait to speak with everyone.
Yeah, great. And that's exactly what we're here today to talk about is a little bit of your journey to give people a little taster of, I guess, what they're going to experience at conference in your session. So many people know you as someone who creates breakthroughs for others, but what was the breakthrough for you that personally changed everything?
I can't say that there was one breakthrough. There was so many breakthroughs, people listening to this and also looking at their own lives to see that, it's never one step. It's, all the steps that add up. And I say that too in my scripts. It's you don't have to take all the steps. You take one step and the next step follows, right? But some of the most and biggest breakthroughs were understanding my subconscious mind. So I had an illness, and it was never diagnosed, but it left me with a physical limp and some pain. And I used hypnosis and delving into my subconscious mind to not only transform the limiting beliefs of I wasn't enough or I was broken in some way to self-love. I was able to alleviate almost all of the pain. And it started with Dr. Brian Weiss when he interviewed me and regressed me into a past life at the age of 20. And so any hypnotherapist, I think, will know Dr. Brian Weiss well of Many Lives, Many Masters, that his seminal book. And so that was one of my breakthroughs, realizing the power of the subconscious mind. And as I moved through, I started to really seek out hypnotherapists that could help me speak to the subconscious, to where everything was happening. My idea was if this is beyond the conscious mind, then I need to speak directly to the source. And those were always breakthrough moments for me, even as a as I went to school to be a hypnotherapist and realized that I was at the same school as that Joe Dispenza went to, that I knew
Mm.
that I had to go there, and he was a breakthrough process for me. And it just kept peeling the onion until I got to a place today where I can actually wear the identity of successful leader really well.
There are so many breakthroughs along the way. You get through one and you sort of feel great for a bit, and you know that there's more to come, right? There's more growth happening all the time. So your journey through illness and transformation deeply influenced your work. So how has that personal healing shaped your ability to facilitate healing and change for others, do you think?
Gave me great insight of what people are dealing with, both mentally and physically, both with illness and then with just this feeling of stuckness. I know I don't know it just practically. I know it experientially. And so I always say to the folks that are saying, how do I work with clients? What's my message? Um, what's my niche? And it's always your message, your message. The experiential leader is almost better than any certification, any training, because you know it firsthand. And that for me was the biggest driver why I can actually see and understand people. It's all from my own challenges that I've been working over the years to overcome.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You understand in depth the challenges that they're dealing with. So you've spent decades in the wellness industry and worked with high performers, entrepreneurs, leaders. So what have you discovered that separates the average transformation work within that industry from truly breakthrough level work?
What separates average work from like breakthrough level work? We all know, and maybe even experience people that consistently continue to see the therapist or the hypnotherapist or to do self-help or go to the next retreat. It's almost as they become addicted to the self-help, the experience of growth, right? But they never actually internalize it and become their own guru. And so the folks that have the ultimate breakthroughs in life are the ones that are able to change their identity, not to outsource their healing, but to internalize it as the coach, as the guru, as the leader. And once they change that identity from broken or seeking to whole and powerful, that is when everything changes.
You created hypno coaching. Tell us a bit about why you developed this.
Well, I had led companies like the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I had gone to schools like HMI and New York City Hypnosis Institute. And what I started to see was a real disconnect between coaching and hypnotherapy. And with coaching, you really want to work with the conscious mind and habits and what people can start to do. And I noticed that hypnotherapy allowed those behavior changes to happen more rapidly and stick. But it wasn't just about an hour-long hypnotherapy consultation. It was how do we stay in touch and guide and lead both conscious and subconscious in a way that others weren't necessarily doing. So hypno coaching is something that I've pioneered to take all of my coaching experience, experience as a leader of hundreds, multiple hundred people companies, and say there is both this conscious leadership element and a hypnotherapy element that needs to come into one. And that is what I created as hypno coaching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And taking those modalities that are really, a strength for the transformation work that you're doing. So, your work is at the intersection of science and spirituality. So, you talk about this. How do you integrate the two into practical transformation work with the clients?
You know, I like to use research because some people have, a very logical brain, right? And others are very happy to let go and let God, right? And so I
Mhm.
like to integrate both. Same with my scripts for hypnosis. I use, either imagery or very practical, direct suggestion. And so
Mhm.
for example, the art of forgiveness. Right? We all understand why forgiveness is so transformative. And almost, if you start to think about forgiveness from a spiritual sense, this idea of radical acceptance and then forgiveness, because as a soul, we're just having a human experience, right? And with that human experience, we're supposed to go through these challenges. And if we've ever been here before, which the Buddhists believe, then we could have been the one perpetrating the challenges that we're experiencing now with other people. So one is forgive. That's the soul's journey. The second part is, for example, forgiveness has a lot of scientific benefit. It's been studied that it lowers inflammation in the body. It has the ability to increase your immunity. There are all sorts of neuroscience and science-backed benefits of forgiveness that once you start to discuss this with a client, like, no, a client doesn't want to give up their anger because they want to be right. And you start to explain both the benefits from the scientific point of view and then from the spiritual point of view, it starts to really take shape in someone's mind.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, and it always, really brings together, I guess, everything that they believe, isn't it? It's working with the clients' beliefs and what's underneath, what's the bigger picture, right? To motivate them
Yeah.
to keep going
Yeah.
on their journey. So, what do you see hypnosis, coaching, and human potential evolving to over the next decade?
Well, I read about this in my book, The Book of Possibility as well. It's this idea of more of an intersection. I think that spirituality is being proven by quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and people are talking more about the subconscious mind. So there is a greater acceptance of hypnosis other than, oh, this woo-woo type of modality and don't control my mind and I'm going to get up on stage and act like a chicken type of stuff, to a wide acceptance that we are far more than our conscious thinking monkey mind, and that through going into a subconscious state, through the critical mind, that rapid change can happen. I think as we move forward, that is integrating more into the more mainstream healing modalities of wellness and of health.
Yeah. So tell us a bit more about why you wrote your book. So I know that you've previously written a book, but you've got the Book of Possibility, I believe, coming out in September. So why did you write that book?
I was really excited to take everything that I was learning, everything that I've learned about myself, and then now I've worked with thousands and thousands of clients. I've held, hundreds of groups with people in them. And what I knew is that to get to everyone that I wanted to get to, I couldn't continue to take one-on-one clients. And I needed to get the message out there. So this book is structured in a way that is like a one-on-one session with me. It goes through my framework, release, align, become. So you can release the limiting beliefs, align with what you want, step into the identity that has it. And then it's paired with recordings, hypno meditations on my app so that every time they read a section, they journal and then they listen to the recording. And so it becomes an entire experience. And what I knew is that I couldn't have one-on-one sessions with everyone, but that I could create a process and a book and a format that would be just as good. And that's why I wrote it. And plus, it's really my passion and my purpose and my mission. It makes me feel good when people feel good. So I tried to create something that would make a lot of people feel good.
Yeah, that's amazing to have the experience beyond the words, right? Incorporating more into that book, like a session with you. That's it
Yeah.
sounds great. Can't wait to read
Yeah.
it.
I
So,
also, and you'll love
mhm,
this too. I also wrote much of the chapters using the tenets of NLP. So even if you're just reading the book, right, if you just read through it, it's going to naturally, organically, like a seed growing through dirt, get into your subconscious mind. So you don't have
mm,
to do much work.
yeah, yeah. So when people do come to you, motivated and wanting to change, but they've tried this and they've tried that and they're feeling stuck in their patterns, what do you think are the most subconscious patterns that are keeping people stuck?
Mm. I have a lot of people that say, I've been doing meditation and I've gone to 5 different hypnotherapists and this issue is not changing. It's still not changing. And so what I look at the subconscious pattern is their belief really lining up with their action? Because we all know that what's familiar, what's ingrained, it doesn't matter how much conscious action you take if you're still self-sabotaging yourself. So I think that the beliefs are always fear-based. And the fear-based is what will happen if I'm not loved? What happens if I do this and something goes wrong? I'm not accepted, I'm not loved. And underneath all of that is not enough. So I think we're all really battling with the worthiness, limiting belief of what we're truly powerful of. And it's what I see primarily is our fear-based limiting beliefs around either not being loved or not being enough.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They affect everything in your life, don't they? Those beliefs. So, you can, see why people stay stuck for many, many years trying to uncover that
Yeah.
deep-seated pain.
Yeah.
So, after working with thousands of people, what are the qualities that you notice in practitioners to create the deepest transformations with their clients? I know you mentioned flexibility, before, but is there anything else?
What do I see for the most successful practitioners?
Yeah,
Right.
so what are the qualities that you notice in practitioners that are really successful in creating real deep, lasting transformation work for their clients?
Yeah, with practitioners that are most successful, they have an ability to focus out. Instead of thinking, which a lot of practitioners do, boy, I wonder if I'm putting them under deep enough. I wonder if I'm helping them. I wonder if they're getting anything out of it. I wonder
Mm,
if this is, we're constantly questioning how impactful we're being. And when we, even learn, when you count them out and not to say, how was your experience? Because you don't, so I think the most successful practitioners focus not on themselves, but on the client's experience, right? And so what that means is that I'm listening to every word that you say. And as I listen to every word that you say, I have real presence and I'm actively listening so that when I'm repeating or creating suggestions, I'm starting to use the words that I've heard and can see are coming straight from your subconscious mind, right? The second part
Mm.
is um, we start to think that every hypnosis needs to be a lulling, right? And I've been with some hypnotherapists that, have kind of a demanding voice or a high-pitched voice, or, there is not one way. I was with a hypnotherapist once that all she did is whisper. And I kept leaning in until I realized I was trying so hard, I was under, right? And so, know that you can be flexible 100% flexible in how you deliver. Two, conscious listening, look, shutting off your own uh, internal dialogue about whether you're good enough and focusing on whether you can help the person in their condition. And then integrating
Mm.
coaching, right? So that you can clearly establish what you're going to help them through.
Mm. It's good advice. In terms of the conference, then, so for every hypnotherapist, coach, trainer coming along to the ABH conference, what's one idea, skill, or perspective that you are going to share that you'd like them to walk away with from your
Two
session?
things that I two things that I think I'll talk about, right? And one is possibility in your career. Right? So why isn't every hypno coach or hypnotherapist thriving? Um, and what is it that stops us from starting a group, going out and getting more clients, asking for the amount of money that we deserve? The second part is, okay, some of us have trouble asking for money. We have real trouble identifying the marketing that we need to do, the packaging that we need to do, the ability to step into the possibility of being an entrepreneur at the same time. And so
Mm.
that is another thing that I think I'll talk about. So I'm going to talk about fear. Fear is the practitioner. I'll talk about stepping into the identity as the leader, structuring the business so that you feel good asking for money and that you look at the marketing framework that you need, all couched in this idea of a holistic entrepreneur that is confident and bold and brave and can do this.
There you go. Straight from Jim. That's exactly why you should come to the ABH conference this year. Jim's presentation is up first, Keynote, opening our conference this year in September. So make sure you register, come along, and we'd love to see you there. I'm sure Jim will too.
Yep. I will see you there.